Got him.
What do you got?
Big brown bass. Barely wallowing on there. Come on. My first open water smallmouth of the entire year. I love it. He swung at it, and I got him.
There's one. Oh, big one. Great big one.
Nice chunko in it.
First day out on the water with a bunch of new baits.
Oh, it feels so good to be out on the water. Jim and I are on a maiden voyage, getting his boat tuned up. Got a brand new Lund, all the Hummingbird, Minn Kota stuff on it, the Merc, all of the latest and greatest, and we're warming up on some smallmouth bass, maybe some walleyes. The lake we're on has got, well, it's a decent smallmouth lake, decent walleye lake, big schools of white bass. We just wanted to come in and make sure everything is operating right. He's got a tournament he's got to go to, so he wants to make sure that everything is rigged right. So my first smallie of the season, and it was a good one.
Closed captioning is provided by Smooth Moves, adjustable boat seat suspensions for a smoother ride.
Early in a year like this, water, we've seen water from about 48 to 52 degrees. You know, ice been on here. The guys I talked to said the ice has been off just shy of 2 weeks. And that's fairly warm for what you've seen, but we had some 70-degree days, so that water warmed up fast. And when you're talking those temperatures in spring of the year, you know, in and around that magic 50-degree mark, everything in a lake is in the same area at the same time. If there's smallmouths there, there's some walleyes there. There's some northerns there. You know, fish like to hang around fish. Later in the year, it does start dividing up. The smallmouths will go where they want to go. The walleyes will go to their spots. The pike will settle into their spots. But early like this, you get on one structure, certain areas, and you catch them all. Oop, got him. Another walleye. A little bit better one. We kick-started him up a little bit.
You know, we're in South Dakota, normally you keep those.
Whoa. That's what a South Dakota bite is like. You get in, you catch one cast, it's a walleye, next cast, it's a northern, next cast, it's a small. What we haven't got yet, James, and they're in this lake someplace, is white bass. They're probably up a lot shallower now.
Right now, my goal is big brown ones. So what I'm doing is reeling it down, giving it twitches and pausing it. I'm sort of prepping. I got a tournament here in about a week. Sort of getting all the tackle tuned up, making sure things are up and functioning correctly.
We got something here. Smallie.
Big bass.
Smallie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
Huge.
Ooh. Nice fish. Whoa, 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 whoa. Come here, come here, come here. It don't get too much better than when you gotta scoop them up. Like this baby. We've been mixing it up a little bit today. Besides Jim getting used to, you know, his new boat with all the new electronics and getting actually tuned up for the season, we're doing a little testing on some new baits from Rapala at the same time. It's all time to try new rods, reels, lures, line, electronics, everything. We're throwing 2 new baits from Rapala that we refer to as hero baits. And one of them is a new version of a shad rep that's been around forever. And this is a new jerk bait called the Maverick. And it does some things that some of the other Rapala jerk baits don't do. We'll talk a little bit about that as the day goes on. So we're doing a whole lot of testing with a whole lot of new stuff for the entire season. Got him.
What?
Got him. Another brown. No, it's a walleye.
What is it?
It's a walleye.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ah,
Here's a big
nice
one.
wall. Nice even. You got, what do you got?
Brownie.
On the Maverick.
Come here, buddy. This water is so cold that these guys are really sort of pretty docile.
See, we doubled up with our new secret lures for the year. We can give a good report back to Rapala. Yeah, they catch fish.
This segment is brought to you by Big Bite Baits, designed to bring the big bite to your line.
Some fish on this ridge, yeah, you know, and there's some fish still spread across it. There's some scattered rock. I'm seeing an occasional fish on side imaging. Got him. Got him. Ooh, I don't know what it is, but nice brownie again. Jerk trolling is one of the most overlooked, productive ways to catch smallmouth or fish in general. Just amazing how many fish you can catch fishing up at the back of the boat while the other guy is target fishing. And you just throw a jerk bait out off the back and lollygag along. I am slowly building confidence in the new Maverick, building a lot of confidence fast in it. Nothing builds more confidence than getting bit.
Whoa, a great big one. Whoa, whoa, great biggie. Wow, that's a big one. Here, look at that size of that little one. Wow, beautiful fish. No question about it. And he really liked this boy right here. That's a big one. Wow, that's a big jaw. Look at that guy there. You know, this is a new Shad Rap. It's called the Elite, which is a little bit different than the original Shad Rap that was such a phenomenal lure and still is to this day. That's a big smallmouth. It's the nicest one I've caught so far this season. I suspect there's gonna be more. But as I was saying, the Shad Rap has been just such a fabulous lure over the years. It's caught so many different species of fish, but this one is a little bit different in the fact that it's got a little bit of a square lip. It's 1/8 of an ounce heavier, so it casts farther, and then it's got those really super sharp, these are called red line hooks that are amazingly sticky. But it's sort of our maiden voyage with the Shad Rap Elite, and it's sort of look like they're liking it.
You know, both of these style baits we're throwing, the Shad Rap shape and the Maverick minnow shape, you know, these two baits are notorious because of their shape for cool to cold water fishing. That's where they really shine. But that doesn't mean that you can't catch fish and different kinds of fish in different places, different environments on these baits. Both families of baits are phenomenal fish catchers all season long, all season long. Jimmy talked a little bit about the Shad Rap. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Maverick. Yeah, you know, does the world need another jerkbait? Yes, when it's called the Maverick. They did some unique things. They got the red line hooks, which is amazing. The weighting system is a little bit different. You could throw it 1,000,000 miles with a bait casting rod is spinning. They got naturally all of the right colors that you need. But the action is the thing, the action. If you're familiar with the body shapes, the minnow-shaped baits in the Rapala family, two of our favorite for smallmouth and largemouth is the X-Rap and the Shadow Rap Deep. The X-Rap has a mind of its own. When you jerk it, that bait it goes like this, up, down, in, out, and it triggers fish like crazy, especially smallmouth, pike, the bigger ones for muskie. And then the Shadow Rap Deep is way more subtle of a bait, you know, way more subtle. Yeah, you know, it's got a real tight wiggle. It doesn't get that extreme craziness, and it worked really good in cold water. The Maverick is a blend of the two, and it fits right in the middle. Yeah, you know, it gets a little bit, you can get it getting a little crazy, but not like the X-Rap. Yeah, you know, and you can't, and it's got a little tighter wiggle, very similar to the Shadow Reb Deep, but it is a different action, and it fits a niche, and at times, you know how touchy those fish can be sometimes. It's amazing. And with all the pressure that we see on these lakes these days, little things like that make a big difference. Something that those fish didn't see before makes a huge difference. You want to be the first guy or gal on your lake throwing these things around before everybody else gets on them and they get conditioned in a couple years.
This boat is rigged up about as nice,
Easy to use, and it flat out works.
It's a must-have when you're talking about big waves. Well, these trout are so darn tough.
Incredible 11-year warranty.
So that was on a number 8 Shad Rap.
Your style of boat control is really key.
One that was there from the very beginning.
you want to be able to see in the water.
The adventure begins.
For you to become really effective with a given lure, what you have to do is actually catch a lot of fish with it. Not only catch a lot of fish with it, catch fish in various fishing situations. This Shad Rap, for me, is just a fabulous tool to catch fish in all different conditions. Just in the last couple of years, I've just smoked shallow water white bass. Jeremy and I got on this really hot white bass bite early season, fishing them really fast and erratic. And then I was out with Michael out in the Great Lakes, Mike Kaner, and we're over in Milwaukee Harbor, and we're fishing with this exact same rod and reel combination, and we're flatline trolling for great big brown trout and lake trout, flatline trolling. And then I'm out with my son, and we're throwing glass Shad Raps on Mille Lacs Lake, casting them and sweeping them down over deep rocks. And what I mean by that is for you to become really effective with a lure is to figure out all the different conditions where that lure works. And the Shad Rap is one of those baits that is amazing because it works for so many different fish species in so many different conditions. You know, one thing that's sort of interesting about, you know, you're talking about really being effective with a given lure is understanding the cadence of various retrieves that you can use when you're fishing. You know, I've seen different conditions for like white bass will fish it really fast and erratic with almost like a real high rod stroke, and you're taking the bait and making it jump super erratically. For like smallmouth bass, a lot of times what we'll do, like right now it's really cold water conditions, what I'm doing is casting the bait, reeling it down, and actually pausing it for a considerable amount of time, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds, and the fish come up and hit the bait. You know, for walleyes, a lot of times what I do for walleyes with this bait, I cast it out and I actually do a retrieve. It's sort of like a strolling retrieve, which I'm working the bait with the rod where I'm pulling it, then I'm picking up the slack. Pulling it, picking up the slack. You know, and what's really intriguing to me is you fish this bait and you can actually, depending on the way you're fishing it, will determine the fish you catch. I'm serious about that. It's amazing in different conditions. I've seen that before. And just exactly, you know, if you're fishing real fast and erratic and pausing it, you get smallmouth to hit it. If you're fishing this stroke, that slow reel and pause, you'll catch walleyes. And if you're fishing the same water and I'm like this, really fast and erratic, and I'll catch white bass with the exact same bait on the same spots. But the thing is, you can actually target individual different fish species based on your retrieve. Well, you get up on that really shallow stuff and they're way up there, like that one, way, way up there. But the thing is, I'm casting it, when I'm reeling the bait down, you still need to be pausing the bait for the fish to hit it. You can't be just cranking it down and like rattling it over the rocks. Wow.
Double, James.
Look at that.
Oh yeah,
Boy.
good fish there.
Boy, look at that. Look how healthy they are.
All right. Oh.
Come here, buddy.
For the first day of the season, open water, we're mixing it up. Like I said earlier, we have all new equipment in the boat, from the electronics to the trolling motor to the batteries, everything in it, rods, reels, lures, line. And I'm fishing the new Legend Tournament Series from St. Croix. And I'm fishing the 6-8 medium power, extra fast action, and this is what I'm throwing a jerkbait on. And St. Croix took the incredibly good rod and made it a little bit better with the new Legend Tournament Series upgrade. You're gonna like this if you're a bass fisherman. This happens to be a bass series. The reel I'm using is Daiwa's new Tatula MQ LT 3000. And for bass fishing, it's an all-around phenomenal spinning reel. I use it for smallmouth, I use it for largemouth. It's really a great reel. My line is Suffolk 832, 10-pound test, and that's on the reel. And then I got a fluorocarbon leader, and that's about 6 foot long, and that's Suffolk's fluorocarbon.
You know, one thing that's really vitally important when you're fishing like shad baits is not to overfish them. And what I mean by that, a lot of times what you're trying to do, you know, they're pretty lively, buoyant baits, and you actually want to impart, you know, that different, changing the cadence and the vibration to trigger fish into biting. So when you're actually fishing the bait, a lot of times if you get in the wrong situation, you're actually moving the bait too fast. What you want to do is actually fish the bait. You know, a lot of times, like when we were out on that big point, I was actually put the talons down. We were fan casting and working castings really accurately over a big series or ridge of rocks. You know what I mean? But we were sitting in a fixed position. You know, we weren't moving along like right now we're moving along a bank, but I'm not moving along that quickly. You know, you get the right conditions. A lot of times you can move and, you know, turn and burn with these baits, but a lot of times you have to literally fish them. You know what I mean? Work the bait is what triggers these fish into biting.
We are loaded for bear. We got
You know,
bites.
there's so many different ways to fish for walleye. Dependability and efficiency.
Simple, fast, and easy.
The best rods on the planet. They like to eat when you're throwing the right thing.
You don't have all bluebird flat calm days.
Just a perfect eating size fish. See, that's what I'm talking about, these Daiwa drags.
We got walleye stuff, we got crappie stuff, we got pike stuff.
A lot of these shad profile baits are known to be really hard to cast, and for a couple of different reasons. Like, you know, this is actually a balsa bait. It's a little bit heavier. This is actually a 5. It's not that big of a lure. But one thing that what I'm fishing with, this is a St. Croix Legend Glass, and it's actually designed to fish these baits. It's got that soft action. It's sort of weird. It loads up and it sort of catapults the lure. Normally, if you're fishing with a real fast action rod, it's sort of interesting. You can't cast the bait that far. You put it with this rod in reel combo, it's unbelievable how far I can cast this little bait.
Ooh.
That's a
Big
nice
one.
one.
Big one.
That's a real, boy, look at the size of that little whopper.
Yeah. James, I was just gonna say, I'm getting awful hungry. Ooh, that's a big gal. That's one of them big ones. Whew. These fish are like so stout. So stout. What do you see this mother? Oh, whoa. James, I got no problem ending with a fish like this tonight and going in and having a steak for dinner. Look at that. Whew. Huh? This is a good way to end this bite on our exploratory trip. Fish with 10 more minutes. 10 more minutes. I ain't gonna get a bigger one than this. Woo! Ah, was she a toad? Woo! Ah, I'm a happy camper. You never know what you say or what you do or how you act and the impact it might have on somebody else's lives. And this past December, middle of December, I was asked to speak at a Fellowship of Christian Anglers Society meeting in my hometown here in Brainerd. And naturally I accepted it. And like I said, it was middle of December, a pretty cool evening. And when I went in, it was at a local restaurant and they had a room off to the side. And there was a number of people. There was a pastor there in the back, and there was different people that I had known. I came there with a friend, and there was 2 young men there. Looked to me to be 15, 16 years old, something like that. And they were with what I believe was their grandfather. Yeah, I think he was a little older than the father, so I'm pretty sure it was the grandfather that had him there. And when any time I go to a speaking engagement like this, yeah, you know, I know what I'm kind of talk about. They ask me to come talk a little bit about fishing and my faith. That's pretty regular. And at the end of the evening, when I'm talking about my faith, I pretty much will close with what is called a sinner's prayer, or ask somebody to turn your life over to the Lord if you have never done it before. And it's a simplicity of what the salvation message is all about. Sorry for my sins, Lord. I'm coming, forgive me for them. I believe you died for my sins, rose again, sitting at the right hand of the Father. A confession of faith in you as Lord and Savior opens up the gates of heaven. That's the gospel in a nutshell. That's what it's all about. And I usually close with something like that. And then one of these young men had acknowledged that this was the first time he ever said a prayer like that. And you know, the evening went on. We talked a little bit, congratulated, you know, just a real casual evening. Well, 2 months later, I get an email, and this young man got killed in a car accident. You never know what you say when you say it, what the Lord tugs at your heart to say. I'll never forget that. Anytime I question, should I close with something like this or not, where I feel it's odd, I don't have to do it to a small group like this. You never, ever know how God is putting you in the right place at the right time with the right people and touches your heart. When you get that tugging in your heart, don't blow it off. It's Him tugging at your heart. Hey, from all of us here at The Edge, you have a great fishing season. We'll see you on the water.